Comments from the Prime Minister. Gas stocks literally have been doing cartwheels. And let's take the conversation forward with Mr. Satpal Garg, member of PNGRB. And also, let me bring on board Mr. A.K. Jana, Managing Director of Indraprastha Gas. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Garg first. The Prime Minister comments on host of gas issues. Gas under GST, the pipeline needs to be monetized. What has caught your attention most? We also said that we need to bring our energy needs down on global energy. So what has caught your attention the most?
In fact, it is a no-brainer that bringing natural gas under GST is the biggest news, and that too coming from the Honorable Prime Minister himself. And so it will be a game changer for the entire gas industry. So be it natural gas pipeline companies or the natural gas trading companies or CGD sector and even the gas consumers. So for everyone, it will be a game changer. So that is the, I think, biggest factor. And why I'm saying so, there is a reason behind this. So not only that natural gas is environment friendly, it is cheaper in comparison to liquid fuels. So in terms of CO2 emission, say every increase of 1 MMSD gas usage, it will result in reduction in CO2 emission by 0.27 million tons per annum. So that is a significant change, and it is cheaper by almost 50% if we compare with petrol and diesel at current prices. And so even if we compare like on an average LNG price, imported price, and we ignore this subsidized gas, so even then it is 15 to 20% cheaper in comparison to petrol and diesel. So, and moreover, it ensures energy security for the country, because we are importing almost 85% of our liquid fuels and only about 50% of natural gas. So if we replace 1 million ton of crude oil by natural gas, it will result in saving of almost $200 million of foreign exchange for the country. So as you know that there are 5 petroleum products which have been kept out of GST, and they are petrol, diesel, ATF, crude oil, and natural gas. So, and it has been a long pending demand of the industry that the best thing is to bring all the petroleum products under natural gas. But if there are constraints in bringing all the products under GST, then at least natural gas can be brought under GST. So that will be very helpful for the gas industry. And the industry is not asking for any concessional rate of GST, but the rate of GST can be even revenue neutral. That in the sense that whatever revenue government is getting through VAT, etc., the same amount of revenue can be collected as GST. So basically, how this will benefit the industry is that the cascading effect of tariff will go, and the consumers as well as natural gas pipeline companies or gas trading companies or CGD companies, they will be able to claim input tax credit, whatever GST they are paying on their inputs in terms of metal and in terms of capital goods. And right now, the gas companies, they have to, it will reduce administration cost also, because now the companies are following both systems of taxation. There are certain inputs which they are paying GST. So they have to do the GST accounting, and their output is subject to VAT. And in case of CGD companies, the compression is subject to excise duty. So they have to maintain the excise record, they have to maintain VAT records, they have to maintain GST records also. So even if it doesn't reduce tax burden, it will at least reduce the administrative burden for the gas sector.
Okay, Mr. Jana, what are your thoughts? I mean, if there is a change in the GST rate for the gas sector, especially natural gas in this case, how will the dynamics change for your company?
Particularly this government, all the time focusing on the city gas distribution more, because this is the area wherein through which the energy mix, uh, the gas share can be increased to 15%. So that's why this was a demand from CGD entity per se. The petroleum ministry also, they were trying for this inclusion in the GST. So it is a right decision at the right time, I must tell you, and this will help to grow the city gas distribution, especially the gas industry, especially the city gas distributions.
Right. Mr. Jana, for IGL specifically, wherever or rather whenever gas is indeed brought under the GST ambit, can you explain how is it that it's going to boost your earnings? What kind of tax advantages will you get? And with the residual earnings, how is it that you're going to, forward your own expansion? If you could give us an estimate or a ballpark at that at this stage.
First of all, because of this inclusion in the GST, it will be helping us to do the ease of business. No, it is very convenient for any industries, the one tax, one country, one tax, so it will be better for us also. And the second thing is that there would be a number of indirect benefit would be there for CGD industries. Not only in the perspective of pricing of our CNG and the PNG, at the same time, whatever we are procuring also, the input tax credit also would be getting, and ease of doing business is there. And the third thing would be it will be very simplified. We need to calculate what would be the GST, what would be this thing. So, excise duty. So it will be put together. It will help us to carry out the business, and definitely it is going to reduce the price. It will depend upon the tax structure. Various states it will be varying because of somewhere the VAT is 0, somewhere the VAT is 14%, somewhere it is 10% also. So depending on that too, for different product, the different tax implications are there. So we are in the process of calculating how it will be helping us. And the second thing is that what would be the slab, whether it is a 5% or the 12% or it is 18%. And for all these things, it will depend on that basically. So we are now in the process of basically calculating what would be the impact on that. But that we will do only after, once it is finalized by the government of India, then we'll be able to tell about that.
Right. Okay, early days yet to try and gauge the financial impact of this. But Mr. Garg, if I could come to you, apart from getting gas under the GST ambit, what also found mention in the Prime Minister's speech was also gas grid. Help us understand how much ground have we already covered when it comes to gas grid, and how much more time would it take to cover the remaining 405 districts?
Okay. No, gas grid, when we talk of gas grid, we normally talk about trunk pipelines. So, and when we talk of gas grid, basically like the main trunk pipeline, whether it has reached the entire country. So, in terms of trunk pipelines, we have already operational pipelines of natural gas pipelines of 17,000 kilometers. And another 15,000 kilometers of pipelines, they are at various stages of construction. So, and those should be ready in next 4 to 5 years. So the basic gas grid will be completed, I think, in next 2 or 3 years. And then it is not one-time job. We keep on then increasing the network in the country. So that is in terms of trunk pipelines. In terms of CGD sector, so as you may be aware that we have already covered 53% of geographical area and about 70% of country's population have access to CGD network. And that is after 9th and 10th bidding round. And now we are planning 11th bidding round also. So we will further expand the CGD network wherever natural gas trunk pipelines are available in the vicinity. So only those areas which don't have access to natural gas trunk pipelines will be left out. Otherwise, we will be covering almost the entire country by providing access to CGD, city gas distribution.
Mr. Garg, I go back to this very basic point, which is that the gas prices in India ultimately are a function of what natural reserves we have. What is your understanding of the gas natural reserves and how easy it will be for us to really monetize those reserves? Because we know that in India, there is a potential for a lot of reserves, but on the exploration front, frankly, very little success has been met.
Okay. No, that is true that I'm basically from E&P side. So I was in ONGC before joining PNGRB. But now I'm a regulator for downstream and not for upstream. But even then, right now we have multiple...
I'm well aware of your ONGC background. That's why I asked you this question.
So, right now we have multiple gas prices. So we have APM gas price, which is $1.79. Then we have production sharing contract price, which is different in different PSCs. And then we have so-called market price for high pressure, high temperature fields and certain deep water fields like Reliance field, which again are they are subject to market price as discovered by bidding route. But then there is a cap on price. And then there is a small discovered field, which are totally market-driven price. So with these kind of multiple price scenario, I think it is very difficult to expect significant production from domestic fields. So I think the best way to incentivize the domestic gas producer is to bring the entire gas production under market-driven price. So hopefully, I think some beginning has been made in terms of bringing this market price for small discovered fields, for the deep water and high pressure, high temperature fields. But I think ultimately, if everything is brought under market price, that will be a big boost for domestic gas production.
In the Indian natural gas or in the Indian gas sector, I'm afraid with the exception of, let's say, BP and one or two small players, we've not seen large investments. The opportunity is large, the pricing regime is getting better, but at a time when genuinely gas companies or energy companies globally are looking at destinations of great growth and great source and great market, why is that global investors are still shying away?
It is only for geological reasons. So like we know very well that there are certain countries in our neighborhood who have abundant resources in terms of crude oil and natural gas. But unfortunately, India is not that fortunate to have that kind of geological results. And this oil and gas, it is not something which can be created. It is through a geological process which take millions of years, not thousands of years, but millions of years. So, but whatever we have, we can exploit that only, and that can be exploited. We can fully utilize that potential by providing the incentive in terms of giving market price to domestic producers.
Okay, Mr. Garg, great to have you on the show. Mr. Jana, thanks as always for taking the time out and speaking.